A basic electrical concept that you will need to be familiar with for your certification exams is Ohm's law. Ohm's law says there's a relationship between voltage, current, resistance, and power consumption in an electrical circuit. Again, it's a simple concept, simple idea, nothing real high level, and even the most complex problems are not going to be beyond your ability to solve and work through. Kind of a disclaimer here. As a practicing safety professional, it's highly unlikely that you will ever use these calculations. But, and this is a big but, you do need to be familiar with Ohm's law and how to use Ohm's law to perform different calculations on the certification exams. Ohm's law and these types of problems that we're going to go through in these tutorial videos, they show up on just about every ASP or CSP exam. They may also show up on the other BCSP exams as well. So it's important for you to have a basic understanding, be able to work through the problems on the exams when you see those problems. Now, these first few problems in this video are very basic, very simple. These are just laying the foundation for the types of problems you'll see on the exam. You will not see this problem on the exam, but this is the foundation for the problems that you will see on the exam. And this problem, very simple, the current in a circuit is 15 amps and the resistance is 10 ohms. Remember, I've already said that there's a relationship between voltage, current, and resistance. And this is the basic Ohm's law formula that you're going to use to solve this simple problem. Voltage equals current times resistance. Now, there is an alternative formula where E is used instead of V to represent voltage. And again, let's just review what each of these variable names represent. V is voltage, and it could be E in some situations. Some professionals use E instead of V. But V is voltage or E is voltage. I is your current measured in amperage, and R is your resistance measured in ohms. I've got all this laid out over here for you to refer to if you need to. But this simple problem here, all we need to do is plug in the information. If I can get my pen to work here. Again, we plug in the resistance, which is 15 amps. We plug in the resistance, which is 10 ohms. And that leaves us with voltage equals 15 times 10. Just a simple multiplication is all that's needed. Voltage equals 15 times 10, which is 150 volts. The circuit voltage is 150 volts. Again, you're not going to see anything this simple on the exam, but we're building toward the more complex types of problems that you're going to see. And again, I want to emphasize, when I say they're complex, that doesn't mean they're beyond your ability. Really, they're probably 8th or 9th grade level computations. But it's just a matter of knowing the steps and knowing the little tricks that you're going to see on the certification exams. Let's go ahead and look at another example. We're going to use the same formula, voltage equals current times resistance, but we're going to have to do an algebraic transposition to solve for a different variable. In this problem, we have voltage in a circuit of 120 volts, and we have the resistance of 10 ohms. And we're solving for the current, which will be in amps. Again, we start with the same formula. We plug in our information. We plug in 120 for voltage. And we plug in 10 ohms for our resistance. Now what we need to do is isolate I, which represents the current that we're solving for. We need to isolate that on one side of the equal sign to solve for I. And it's very simple algebraic transposition. We just divide both sides by 10. Divide both sides by 10. And when we do that, it cancels on the right side of the equal sign and isolates I. And we're left with 120 divided by 10 equals I. All we need to do now is that division. 120 divided by 10 is 12. So our current is 12 amps in this particular example. Another simple problem. The voltage in a circuit is 115 and the current is 11 amps. We're solving for resistance in this problem. Same formula, plug everything in, plug in our voltage, plug in our current of 11 amps. Now we divide both sides by 11. And that leaves us with 115 divided by 11 equals our resistance, which is 10.45 ohms. Total resistance in this circuit is 10.45 ohms. All right, that is the basics. In subsequent tutorials, we're going to get a little more involved. We're going to be using this concept, and we're going to be throwing in some other concepts as well. And we're building to the types of problems that you're likely to see on certification exams. All right, I will see you in the next video.